Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Nat Walsh. Today we are going to play with some distress oxides. We have cracked pistachio, we have evergreen bough, and we have some black soot. So we're going to have a little play with those today. We're going to do a bit of emboss resist. Okay. We've got Paper Rose Christmas snowflakes and the Paper Rose Christmas sentiments. So this sentiment is pretty much a favourite of mine. I use the two big Merry Christmas quite a fair bit. I should break in and have a look at some of the other sentiments, but they're my go-to at the moment, especially when I'm a bit rushed for time, I'm just trying to figure out here whether I want to do this landscape or portrait. Quite often I do these sort of cards landscape, but we're going to have a play with doing this portrait. It's sort of similar to a recent card class that I did, but I wanted to have a little bit more play with emboss resist and using the oxides, and of course it's snowflakes. So it's a little bit of a variation if any of the ladies that were in my class recently. So you'll know where I'm going with some of this. It's not exactly the same, it's just a little bit of a variation. I'm just straightening up my stamp here. Quite often what you can do, because it's quite thick and it's only a tiny little bit, just peel it up and let it drop. And that will quite often straighten it all out. So that's a nice little handy tip. I'm going to place all my snowflakes down. Now I will go back in later on and add some more smaller snowflakes, but to cut down on time, you can do this all in one go if you know where you're going. I did not know where I was going with this card. I knew what I was doing, but I added more snowflakes as I went. And that's perfectly fine. You just have to be careful not to reheat your embossing. That's a bit more of the, you'll dull it. I don't know, you'll dull it down and you flatten it all out and it just won't be as nice. So you just have to be very, very careful. And then after we do some blending, we're just going to add some more black. I've just given the stamps a bit of a rub just to take off the manufacturing residue, and it sort of seems to take the ink a little bit better. I've said that quite a fair bit in the last few videos, but it just works. It just works, people. So, so give them a rub. You tend to get a bit better connection. Now, a bit better imprint. Now, I am doing this twice because I just wanted to make sure I had a good coverage of the Versamark. And here is our white embossing powder. Just giving it a good coating there. And I'll do that a couple of times. Tap it off and just make sure I've got all my little bits of my snowflakes covered. So you can see it really easy now, but when I go and heat it all up, you're not going to be able to see it. So trust me, it's there. And then the magic will happen when you get it all blended and it's like, But anyway, so we're just playing with this. There we go. You can sort of see it, sort of. Take off all our stamps. We're going to replace them with some smaller little snowflakes. So this card is for Leslie from Little Bits again. It's a little bit late, but don't tell her. But as per usual, things got away from me this week. Same. What's different? Anywho, this Saturday, the 5th of December, I will be at Little Bits. So if you would like to pop in and say hi, if you're local to Melbourne, that would be amazeballs. And yeah, it's been cool actually. I've had a few people, I think one of the last times I worked, there was a few ladies that popped in and had seen my videos through Facebook for Leslie and popped in to say hello and ask me a couple of questions. So that was pretty cool. I won't lie. That was a bit cool. So they were all heated up. You can sort of see it. But this is the next step, is where you're really going to, it's really going to pop out. So first off, we've got cracked pistachio. I'm trying to figure out here whether I'm going to start from the bottom or the top. I decided to start from the top. I'm going to tap off a little bit of the excess and working my way down. Now it's a pretty big panel. I'm going to trim this down a little bit. And first off, it's going to look a bit like a hot mess. Let's be honest, it's going to look a bit like a hot mess. This one's not too bad actually, but quite often the first time you go around, they just look like a mess. We've got our evergreen bough. So it looks really splodgy, but until I blend that all in, that's what it's going to do. So I'll come back through in a little bit, and after I've done the black, no, I'm still going to come through. I promise I will come through again. That is not the last time you've seen cracked pistachio being put on that card. Anyway, we've got our black soot, tap off. And the Distress Oxides make it really, really easy to blend. They are not so unforgiving like normal Distress inks. They just go on so nice and smooth. And we're just going to blend it all out, and slowly I will add a little bit more colour and change it all around. Soften that edge. Working our way through. So it would be really awesome if you are not yet subscribed. If you're the first time you come to my channel, welcome. It's good to have you here. I won't say it's good to see you because I can't see you, but you know, there we go. We spray a bit of water on, splash it around. It would be really awesome if you could subscribe, hit that little bell that will tell you whenever I upload a new video. That will give you the notification so you get to see it before other people, before I get to throw it over onto some Facebook groups. So that would be a great honor to me. We're just going to wipe off our snowflakes for our Boss Resist, and it's just a little bit dry. It's not a little bit dry, it's a little bit wet, so we're just going to dry that off with a heat gun. Now we're going to come through with our black embossing powder. I don't often play with black, but I'm just checking here making sure everything is dry. I think I need a little bit more drying time, so I will dry it. See, down the bottom there. So I don't often play with black embossing powder. I tend to find that it's not hard, but you have more flecks of black powder sometimes if you're not careful. So I tend to just go, honestly, I tend to do these when I don't have an awful lot of time. So to cut down on that, I will use black ink and clear embossing powder. But this time we're going to play with a block. Oh my gosh. Why do I always get onto these record voiceovers for my videos and always have an issue with talking? Why? Probably some of my friends sort of go, that's always not. So this is me. There's nothing put on about me. This is what I do in all my fun, all my play, all my little bits and pieces. We've just got some scrap paper. I usually have little drawers for my most used, my gold, my white, and my clear. But all my other ones are all, I just use a scrap piece of paper. I do have some little trays, but they're across the other side of the room, and I'm a little bit lazy. Why waste time getting up and going over to the other side of your room if you don't have to? So there was a piece of paper right next to me. If anyone's setting up a new craft room, I would strongly suggest to think about all your most used toys and make sure tools, and make sure they're nearby. That's my word to the word from the unwise people to the wise people. Anyway, I've trimmed this down to 14.1 by 9.7. We're just going to mat this up on some white card base. I'm actually going to use some foam. My big roll of foam here. And we're just going to put a few strips down. So it's not very tall, but can get a little bit warped with the embossing powder. So we're just going to make sure that's nice and held down. My pet peeve is some foam that doesn't always hold it down properly, but this stuff is really very, very strong. So as I said, cut for Leslie from Little Bits. Her information will be linked down below. All my information for the colours that I've used, some more photos and everything will be over on my blog, which will also be linked down below. So that will be, if you need it, if you want anything information, just click on the link. Now, I sort of forgot to press record. I think one of the sons got home and I got confused. But I've got the snowy sequins here. I've also got some other sequins, but we went with the snowy ones. I did have a clear embossing, a clear little snowflake sequin, but we just went with the normal sequins here. And there's some bigger ones and some smaller ones. The clear just didn't, well, they're clear, but they're very, very, they didn't pop out at all, sort of thing. So we've got a Marvy jewel picker here and some multi-matte medium in a small bottle. I have finally, it's like hallelujah, I have finally cleaned my little Marvy tool. You just run it underneath some water. I think some people use a little bit of soap, but I don't even do that because, life's too short. And as you can see, it's working perfectly. And that's pretty much it. That's my card. So thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed it and got a few little ideas for using some different ink colors or something like that. And even some black embossing for some snowflakes. They are dark snowflakes. They're evil snowflakes. No snowflakes are ever evil. Anyway, take care. Thank you for stopping by. Bye.